If you are an immigrant living in the United States, whether you are a green card holder, a visa holder, undocumented, or anything in between, there is one statement that ICE officers cannot legally ignore. And knowing this statement could be the difference between protecting your rights and losing everything you have built in this country. My name is James. I have been a senior U.S. immigration professional for 6 years, and through Immigration Bulletin Hub, I have made it my life's mission to help immigrants understand and exercise the rights that the Constitution guarantees to every single person on American soil. Stay with me until the very end of this video, because what I share today is not just information, it is power. The power to protect yourself, your family, and your future when you are facing one of the most frightening situations any immigrant can encounter. Let me begin by speaking directly to your heart. I know the fear that many of you live with every single day. The fear of that knock on the door. The fear of being stopped on the street. The fear of being separated from your children, your spouse, your parents. This fear is real and it is valid. But I want you to hear me clearly. Fear without knowledge leaves you powerless. Knowledge transforms fear into preparation. And today, I'm going to give you the knowledge you need to stand on solid ground if you ever find yourself face to face with an ICE officer. As of today, the constitutional rights I am about to explain remain fully in effect. These are not privileges that can be taken away by executive order or policy change. They are constitutional protections that apply to every person in the United States, regardless of immigration status. This has been confirmed repeatedly by federal courts, including the Supreme Court, and is acknowledged in official guidance from the Department of Homeland Security itself. I will reference official sources throughout this video, but I also encourage you to verify everything I say with qualified legal professionals and official government resources. Now, the statement that ICE cannot ignore, the statement that activates your constitutional protections and puts officers on notice that you know your rights, is this. I am exercising my right to remain silent. I do not consent to any searches. I want to speak with an attorney before answering any questions. Spoken calmly and clearly, this statement invokes 3 separate constitutional rights simultaneously, and it creates a legal record that you asserted those rights. Let me break down exactly why this statement is so powerful and what each part means. The first part, I am exercising my right to remain silent, invokes your Fifth Amendment protection against self-incrimination. The Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution states that no person shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against themselves. While immigration proceedings are technically civil rather than criminal, the Fifth Amendment still applies in important ways. You have the right to refuse to answer questions about your immigration status, your country of origin, how you entered the United States, how long you have been here, or any other questions that could be used against you. ICE officers are trained to ask questions in a casual, friendly manner to get you to reveal information voluntarily. Once you say, I am exercising my right to remain silent, you have clearly invoked this protection. And anything you say after that point, if you choose to speak, is more clearly voluntary rather than coerced. The second part, I do not consent to any searches, invokes your Fourth Amendment protection against unreasonable searches and seizures. The Fourth Amendment requires that government officers have either a warrant signed by a judge or probable cause and exigent circumstances before they can search your person, your home, your car, or your belongings. When you clearly state that you do not consent to searches, you eliminate the possibility that ICE can later claim you gave them permission. This is critically important because consent searches are one of the most common ways that ICE gathers evidence. If an officer asks, "Can I come in?" or "Can I look in your bag?" and you say yes, or even if you simply step aside and allow them to enter, you may have given consent. But if you clearly state, "I do not consent to any searches," that consent does not exist, and any evidence gathered without a proper warrant may be challenged in court. The third part, I want to speak with an attorney before answering any questions, invokes your right to counsel. While the Sixth Amendment technically applies in criminal proceedings, the broader principle that you have the right to legal representation before making statements that could affect your liberty is deeply embedded in American law. When you ask for an attorney, you are signaling that you understand the gravity of the situation and that you are not going to make uninformed decisions that could harm your case. ICE officers are required to stop questioning once you have clearly requested an attorney, although they may continue with their enforcement actions. The key is that you are not providing them with additional information that could be used against you. Now let me be absolutely clear about something. Invoking your rights does not mean you will not be arrested. It does not mean ICE will simply walk away. If ICE has a valid warrant for your arrest, or if they have probable cause to believe you are removable, they can and will take you into custody regardless of what you say. What invoking your rights does is protect you from making your situation worse. It prevents you from inadvertently admitting to things that could be used against you in immigration court. It creates a legal record that could be important if you later challenge your detention or removal. And it gives your attorney the best possible foundation to fight your case. Let me walk you through a realistic scenario to show you exactly how this works in practice. Imagine you are at home on a Saturday morning. There is a knock at the door. You look through the peephole and see two people in plain clothes who identify themselves as ICE officers. What do you do first? Do not open the door. You are not required to open your door to anyone unless they have a judicial warrant. Not an ICE administrative warrant, but a warrant signed by a judge. You can ask them to slide the warrant under the door or hold it up to the window. Look at the top of the document. A judicial warrant will say United States District Court at the top and will be signed by a judge. An ICE administrative warrant, which may say Department of Homeland Security at the top, does not give officers the right to enter your home without your consent. If they do not have a judicial warrant, you can say through the closed door, I am exercising my right to remain silent. I do not consent to any searches. I want to speak with an attorney. Please slide any paperwork under the door. You do not have to open the door. You do not have to answer any questions. You do not have to let them in. If they force their way in without a judicial warrant, that is a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights, and any evidence they gather may be suppressed in court. Now, let me address a different scenario. What if you are stopped on the street or at your workplace? You cannot simply walk away from an officer who is detaining you, but you can still invoke your rights. If an officer approaches you and asks questions, you can ask, Am I free to leave? If they say yes, walk away calmly. If they say no, or if they do not give a clear answer, you are being detained. At that point, you can say, I am exercising my right to remain silent. I do not consent to any searches. I want to speak with an attorney. Then remain silent. Do not argue. Do not resist physically. Do not run. Simply exercise your right to say nothing. I also want to address something many people ask me about: the difference between sensitive locations and other places. The Department of Homeland Security has a long-standing policy that limits enforcement actions in what are called sensitive locations. These include schools, hospitals, places of worship, weddings, funerals, and public demonstrations. DHS policy states that enforcement actions at sensitive locations require prior approval from a supervisor and should generally be avoided unless there are exigent circumstances or a threat to public safety. However, and this is critically important, this is a policy, not a law. Policies can change, and there have been reports of enforcement actions near sensitive locations. So while you may feel somewhat safer in a church or hospital, you should still know your rights and be prepared to invoke them if necessary. Now let's talk about what to do if you are arrested and taken into custody. First, stay calm. Do not sign any documents without first speaking to an attorney. ICE officers may present you with forms that look routine, but could actually waive your right to a hearing or push you into voluntary departure. Signing these forms could eliminate your ability to fight your case in immigration court. Even if an officer tells you that signing will help you get out faster, do not sign anything until an attorney has reviewed it. Second, you have the right to make a phone call. Use it to contact a family member or an attorney. Third, remember that you have the right to a hearing before an immigration judge in most cases. Do not give up this right without legal advice. Fourth, if you have children who are US citizens, make sure someone knows who they are and where they are. Have a plan in place for their care if you are detained. Now let me share practical steps you can take right now, today, to prepare yourself and your family. First, memorize the statement I shared at the beginning of this video. I am exercising my right to remain silent. I do not consent to any searches. I want to speak with an attorney before answering any questions. Practice saying it calmly and clearly. Teach it to every adult member of your family. Second, create a Know Your Rights card and keep it with you at all times. This is a small card that lists your rights and the key phrases to use. Many immigrant rights organizations provide these cards for free, and you can find templates online. Having a physical card can help you remember what to say in a stressful situation. Third, keep copies of important documents in a safe place that a trusted person can access if you are detained. This includes your passport, birth certificate, any immigration documents, proof of relationships with US citizen family members, and contact information for an immigration attorney. Fourth, identify an immigration attorney now, before you ever need one. Many attorneys offer free or low-cost consultations. Having a relationship with an attorney means you have someone to call if you are ever detained. Fifth, create a family emergency plan. Decide who will care for your children if you are detained. Make sure your children know who to call and what to do. Have important phone numbers written down in a place children can access. Sixth, know your local resources. Many cities have rapid response networks that can send legal observers and attorneys when ICE is conducting operations. Know the phone numbers for these organizations in your area. I also want to address a question I receive frequently. Will exercising your rights make your situation worse? Some people worry that if they assert their rights, ICE officers will become angry or retaliate. Let me be clear. Exercising your constitutional rights is legal, and officers are trained to expect it. While individual officers may have different reactions, the law is on your side when you invoke your rights. More importantly, the alternative, speaking without an attorney, consenting to searches, signing documents you do not understand, carries far greater risks. I have seen too many cases where people tried to explain their situation to ICE, thinking they could talk their way out of it, and instead gave officers exactly the information needed to build a case against them. Silence protects you. An attorney protects you. Cooperation without legal advice can harm you. I want to be very clear about one more thing. Everything I have shared today applies to everyone in the United States, regardless of immigration status. Whether you are a US citizen, a green card holder, a visa holder, or undocumented, these constitutional protections apply to you. The Fourth Amendment does not say citizens have the right to be free from unreasonable searches. It says the right of the people. The Fifth Amendment does not say citizens shall not be compelled to be witnesses against themselves. It says no person. These are human rights, not citizen rights, and they belong to you. As we come to the end of this video, I want to remind you of something important. Knowledge is not just power. Knowledge is protection. By watching this video, by learning your rights, by preparing yourself and your family, you have taken a significant step toward protecting your future in this country. But knowledge only helps if you use it. Practice the statement, make the card, create the plan, talk to your family, find an attorney. Do these things now while you have time, not when you are in crisis. If this video helped you understand your rights when facing ICE, please like it, share it with every immigrant you know, and subscribe to Immigration Bulletin Hub with notifications turned on. I am committed to bringing you accurate, life-saving information every single day. Your support helps this channel grow and reach more people who need this knowledge. Before I go, my standard disclaimer: everything I have shared today is for general informational purposes only. It is not legal advice. Immigration law is complex and changes frequently. Your individual situation may have unique factors that require professional evaluation. Please consult with a qualified immigration attorney for advice specific to your case. Always verify information with official government sources, including DHS, ICE, and USCIS. Policy can change, and the information I provided is accurate as of today. Thank you for trusting me with your safety and your future. You have rights, you have power, and now you have the knowledge to use them. My name is James, and this is Immigration Bulletin Hub. Stay safe, stay informed, stay strong, and I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourself and take care of each other.